I'm going to just wrap it up real quick. Thanks for the panelists for coming by and sharing their vision on entrepreneurship. I think fundamentally today, I think because of the whole idea of entrepreneurship, we have a great gathering here. And I know practically everyone's mind is, if I were to read everyone's mind, you're probably trying to figure out how do I transform from being a BITSAan to being an entrepreneur. And we heard all of those variations of it. But what I've done in my own personal career is that I've actually been able to synthesize that down to about three main sections. One of the things is being able to manage risk very effectively. Your personal risk, your professional risk. And that's a very calculated one. So on the personal side, most of us knew how to do that because when we ended up in Pilani, we had a limited budget. You could only spend so much with the Radiwala. If you ended up spending too much, you had to ask your parents. At some point, they're going to say, this is the limit, buddy. Put a plan together. In a professional front, though, you have to have good friends around you who can guide you and manage that whole affair. And so that's where the networking really comes into being. It's the experience, it's the crowd that you move around with. The second one really is what is critical. It's about curiosity. The fundamental thing about entrepreneurship is curiosity. If you go back, and I reflected upon 30 years ago when I actually took that 2-night trip by train to Delhi and another 6-hour ride on the bus to Pilani. All for what? In the quest of knowledge. And after that, maybe a degree. No guarantees for a job whatsoever. When we got out, yeah, we got some jobs. Yeah, something that gave you 1,000 rupees a month. But that was really not what we were looking for. We were curious. We wanted to find out what else. And in that process, we met a lot of friends. And I have a wonderful gathering of friends, which is now resulted in all of this. So I think the curiosity is something so important for your entrepreneurial growth that I think somewhere along the path, as you started building your career, somebody fed into your ears and said, curiosity kills the cat. And that immediately stuns your whole process. In fact, I was looking through a quote recently and it was interesting. They said, if curiosity really killed the cat, then the cat was actually a king. So that's okay. So I think the real important thing is, as far as entrepreneurs are concerned, lack of curiosity kills the cat. So the first important thing is to continue that pursuit of learning and knowing that you're naive, not arrogant, actually. And a naivety is actually a good thing because you continuously learn in that process. The last one is, of course, the trigger point. The trigger point comes in because you're continuously pursuing, you're continuously trying to learn, and in that process you come across a lot of friends from different walks of life, not necessarily BITSAans. But when you see a BITSAan, you're able to relate to that person, especially if that BITSAan has risen up to a certain level. For me, that happened many years ago, '84. I was actually working for a US corporation based in Singapore, and the whole employees had gathered down in the evening to meet these founders and the senior management from the US corporation. One of them was a computer legend, Gene Amdahl. Everyone probably has heard of him. It was a great experience seeing him in person. The next one is an icon from India, Ratan Tata. The third one is the founder of Alexi, Thampi Thomas. And then as soon as I heard that he's a BITSAan, it struck a chord in me, and I said, I've got to trace this path between a BITSAan and an entrepreneur. What does it mean? How do I get there? And along those years, I kept meeting BITSAans who kept telling me about the same thing. And then somewhere in '99, I said, why not get together in a forum where we can all actually start exchanging ideas? But one thing you got to remember with all those things, you still have to realize that BITS as a community is a small community. We have to make sure it stands for quality, but at the same time, you have to reach out to other communities and elements to really leapfrog into entrepreneurship. So don't stunt yourself, continue dreaming, and continue growing. And with that, I want to thank, is there a question? Oh my God, okay.
Professor B R Natarajan, who is the Dean of Distance Learning, wants to speak for 2 minutes.
Okay guys, the bar you see there is before this occasion. Have it as a bouquet. Hats off to Mayusha, Bowen and Garbo and CSE and TSC team, BITSAA team from Pilani coordinating this. Happy that Jayan, Vivek, President, Partner of Nalagupirian has paid for this exciting discussion. To us in the BITSAA language, it was like watching a bowling with the three cars, Salman, Shahrukh, Adab and Amit and Rani Mukherjee had come for a shooting. Great show, and we feel forward for both things. I'm sure this apology is going to get kick-started with the alumni giving a go-ahead with this. We are going to have a whole lot of alumni coming for during the apology, and I'm sure this video conference will bring the next few additions to the part. We do cherish the most important aspect, not the structure and other things, is also one. Structure now, and I'm sure when the alumni pull their names, is going big time with Pilani. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Natarajan. That's great.
Okay, with that, I'm going to end the show, and thanks for organizing Ashish Cup. I'm going to hand over the mic to you.